Hey folks, good evening. Welcome again to another money space with me, Kalu Aja. Of course, in this space, we're talking money, the economy, and finance. Want to make it personal to you, make you a better investor and a better citizen, right? This week, we're going slightly, it's not really off topic. I think it's a very, very good topic because immigration for centuries has been a way that communities and individuals have sought out a better life for themselves and for their families. So when you talk about financial planning, immigration is a part of a financial plan. Do you want to go somewhere else to learn, to earn, to learn a trade and then come back and use what you've learned to start a business? It's all part of this whole big financial plan. I know a financial plan is in decades, not in months. So we decided to talk this week really about, immigration, what's going on with, if you put the news on, there's a lot happening. Of course, America is its own different animal. Europe, a lot of changes in Europe, how you can go to Europe, just a lot is going on. We need an expert, right, to break through all that, fuzz and to give us just the process, the legal process. What do we need to know? What do we need to do? So that if we are planning to go to school abroad or want to emigrate to live with our partner or want to just move for a better life, which is not illegal, right? We want to know the way to do it. So this week I brought in a guest. I consider her a friend. She's always on my space, and I'm very, very happy that she has allowed us to partner on this. Her name is Claudine. I think she's from Rwanda. Yes, from Rwanda. Claudine, you want to unmute, sort of introduce yourself to the community, and then, it's going to be a packed space. I already have tons of questions. We'll just sort of start off. Claudine, you've got the floor. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. How are you,
I'm doing.
Carly?
I'm doing very well. You are come from the US, correct?
Yes, I'm in the US.
Perfect. So I had shared Claudine's email, sorry, her law firm's link on the Twitter page. I'm going to share it again on my page in case you'd like to follow up with her after the session. That would be fantastic. Claudine, you want to do a brief introduction?
Yeah, yes. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where each of you is. My name is Claudine Umuhire Gasana. I am originally from Rwanda, but I'm also a U.S. citizen, and I'm based in the U.S. right now for the last almost 18 years. I am an immigration attorney. I'm an attorney licensed in New York, Texas, and I practice in federal district courts and state court, mainly immigration law, but I do a little bit of family law and some employment law, but my specialization for the last 17 years is in immigration. So I am a mother, I'm a wife, I have two children. So I'm happy to be here today with Kalu. I follow his spaces. I'm very interested in African, growth and Africans. And I have to tell you, the majority of my clients are from Africa. So of course, I'm very close to the African community.
Perfect. Well, we're glad to have you here. Really glad to have you here. Let's jump straight into it. Sort of, could you summarize for us, right? What are the processes for immigration to the USA? Let's use US as a case study. If I want to emigrate to the US, what are the legal pathways and what are the types of immigration? Joe, can you give us a summary? Like, I'm a 25-year-old guy in Nigeria, I want to go to school. What is the process, more or less?
Right. So the process of immigration is under the Immigration Nationality Act, which is a law that was enacted in 1952, that governs immigration here in the United States. Of course, there have been amendments, there have been added laws and regulations to the process. So to immigrate or immigrate in the United States, there are different pathways. There is sponsorship through family immigration. For example, if you are a U.S. citizen, you have the right to marry whoever you want and then bring them on through marriage. So now, if you also have parents who are not citizens, you can also bring them to the United States as immediate relatives. If you have a lawful permanent residency, you can petition for your spouse and children under 21. So that's one aspect: family sponsorship, either through a citizen or a lawful permanent resident. There's also employment sponsorship, which include work visas and includes the work visa can go from work visa to also becoming a resident and later becoming a citizen. There is coming here as a student. A lot of people in Nigeria, for example, they come here on student visas, and you go to school, to university or college. After each category of graduation, you are allowed 1 year of practical training, and you can continue on, and that's how most are employed, and the employer really takes interest in you. They will sponsor your green card. Green card is a permanent residency through sponsorship. By the way, we are on X, which is Elon Musk's platform right now. He also took that path. He came as a student, and then he later became a resident, and then became a U.S. citizen. So did President Trump's wife, Melania Trump. Also, she was on a H-1B, which is a work visa, and then she became a green card holder. So there's employment sponsorship also has a component of self-petitioner. Like, you can self-petition if you demonstrate that it is in the national interest for the United States to waive the employer sponsorship because of your achievement. For example, I was talking about Melania Trump. She sponsored through EB-1A, which is extraordinary ability for, I think she was E-1B because she was in the modeling and entertainment. There's also sponsorship through investment. If you invest in a lot of amount of money, $1 million, and you create jobs.
$1 million.
And also, yeah, it's over $1 million now. They increased. It's called EB-5. You can also get a green card or permanent residency or conditional residency, and then within 2 years, if you show that you have created 10 jobs, then you'll be able to get a permanent resident card. But there's also non-immigrant visas, right? So we talked about work visas. You hear about H-1B. There are different types for artists, like O1. I like to talk about maybe some African celebrities. For example, Trevor Noah, right? He came here on O1 visa. I don't know if he continued to become a green card holder or if he just kept his O1, or now I don't know now if he's still in the United States. Like actors like Lupita Nyong'o, like all those people who achieve a certain level of accomplishment, they have their own type of visas. They can go from O1 and then to EB1, which is employment-based, self-petition. You don't need a sponsor because of your achievements. There are also scientists too, like people who are researchers, engineers. I work with engineers, researchers, IT. We are in AI now. A lot of people from Nigeria. I have some Nigerian clients who are very, very smart, and then they don't need sponsorship. They self-petition.
Interesting.
And then, last but not least, there is the humanitarian aspect of immigration. That's where you find asylum, refugee status, and you find temporary protected status. You find parole, like the paroles that were given to people from Haiti, from Ukraine, Afghanistan, from TPS for Rwanda used to have a TPS back in 1994 for a short period of time. Like people in Sudan, they had a TPS because of what's going on in the country. There's this temporary protected status they give to those individuals on humanitarian grounds. So, to be brief, those are the categories where someone can come to the United States. Of course, you can come to visit and go. You need a visa. That's not an immigrant. That's coming to visit. It's not like to immigrate in the U.S. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. I hear you talk about investing. If I have $1 million, I can come. If I'm smart, I can come. If someone is married, I can come. If I want to go to school, I can come and then stay here. There are lots of pathways to come. So what's going on in America right now? So it's legal to emigrate to America, right? That's just it. Because people get confused and say, oh, they don't want you to come. So there are lots of ways to come to America, and American government wants you to come to America. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so I mean, the laws are still on the books. You have to understand the president does not make the law in the United States. The Congress votes, and so what the president does is implement the laws. He has to. He plays within the boundaries of the law, the existing laws. So that's why you see some of the executive actions he has taken have been, shut down. Some of the people he deported, they brought them back in the U.S. because he can't go beyond the law. So the immigration is continuing. The life, if you are married to a citizen, although we're going to speak about the visa ban that's happening, but generally, if your country is not subject to the travel ban, it's normal. If you come in legally in the United States. But however, of course, there is a hype of deportations that also people who have a residency, like they have a green card. If they have some type of criminal record, once they leave and they attempt to come back, sometimes they are detained because you have a criminal record, and then you have to go through bonds and maybe to clear that issue before you are released.
Okay, so
but the cases are going. I mean, we are not out of business.
Gotcha. and again, guys, if you want to, this is not my wheelhouse. So if you have a question, just send a DM or request to speak on the mic, and I'll add you in. We're all going to learn here together. So let me come back to you. So I'm a citizen of Nigeria. Then I go to the US, say to school, and I get my visa as a school person. Then I can then get sponsored for 1 year. And I get if the guy likes me, the employer likes me, I get my green card, and I'm in the US. So from my green card, what happens? I can stay in the green card forever, or can I then say I want to be a citizen? What is that process as well?
Okay, so there's you jumped to the green card. So there's a process between.
Oh, please take us back. Take us back, yeah.
Okay, so if you are accepted for college or higher education, the school, after verifying that all your credentials, they give you a form called I-20. So the I-20 is basically a form that say you have to show to the embassy, look, I have admission, I have completed all the requirements to the school, now I need a visa. So you apply for a visa. If you're in Nigeria and Lagos, you go to the embassy and you have to go through the interview. So a student visa is tied. When you apply for a student visa, you are not supposed to have an immigrant intent. Basically, you have to show, okay, yes, I'm going to the United States, but I have ties in my home country. I have financial support, like I'm not going to be depending on the U.S. government to support me. So once they verify that, the embassy will grant you the student visa. The student visa is issued on what's called duration of status, meaning like the I-20 you have, it shows, yes, such and such is coming for the program of a bachelor's degree in engineering. It's going to be 4 or 5 years. So once you arrive, you have to go to school. You have to attend a full-time. You have to be a full-time course study. So that's one of the requirements. Most people, they violate the status when they arrive in the U.S. and then they are not pursuing the school. If you don't show up at school, because that I-20 is connected to ICE. It's connected to how it's called service. Service. Let me tell you what service means. It's a verification. Let me say it in full words so we can. I never memorize it.
Yeah,
it's a student and exchange visitors verification system. Mm-hmm. So, which means not all colleges and all universities are eligible to host international students. Those colleges and universities, even high school, by the way, but that's another topic. All educational institutions who are eligible to host international students, they have to have a SEVP, like the Student Exchange Verification Program, with ICE. ICE is Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So they communicate, okay, yes, Kalu has been granted the student visa. You arrive in the U.S., it's in the system that you arrived today. Wow. You have to show up at school within 30 days. If you don't show up at school, I is going to show in the system, and ICE is going to contact your college. Hey, what's up? We didn't see Kalu. Did he show up? No. If you don't, then your service record is terminated. Like you are in violation. So you have to attend school, and the schools have to always report back. Yes, they are still pursuing a full-time course. Mm-hmm. So once you finish your program, say a 4-year program, you are given 1 year of employment authorization. If you are in a STEM program, like science, technology, engineering, and math, after 1 year, if you work with a company that's E-Verify, like that's another government program, then you are allowed an additional 2 years of work.
Oh.
Right? So you already working under student visa, but as a practical training, like internship type of. Okay. So after that, if you choose to pursue a master's program, you can go back to school, get a new I-20. You don't need to go change your visa. Again, your visa is issued for duration of status, meaning for the duration of your studies. And after your master's program, while you are pursuing your master's program, if you get an employer to sponsor your visa, your green card, your residency, or your work visa, you could begin with the work visa, H-1B. That's basically, H-1B is the most common employment visa for people with a bachelor's degree or above. But we only have few per year. We have like 65,000 for bachelor's degree, and then there's another pool for 20,000 for U.S. masters. So there's always a lottery going on throughout the year, which, by the way, Trump, they are trying to change how they are selecting people. They will try to do that based on salary, which is going to affect college graduates, because H-1B is really for college graduates, for like, new students international students who just finished their school and they need employment sponsorship. So if you are lucky to get H-1B, to get sponsored by an employer, your H-1B is a non-immigrant visa, like temporary, is valid for 6 years. Within those 6 years, normally what happens, U.S. companies, if you work very well, I mean, 100%, really almost 100%, they will sponsor your green card, like employment based. And then you get your green card from the company. You have to work for the company, and then after 5 years, you apply for U.S. citizenship. Or if within that time you meet your fiance, a U.S. citizen, or even a green card holder, they can petition for your marriage petition, and then you can obtain your citizenship through marriage instead of employment.
Interesting.
Yeah, so basically that's the process, really. Or if you're very bright, which it happens sometimes. Some kids are very smart, and during their bachelor's degree, after those years, they give them to work. They stand out and they go get their master's degree as well. They are able to petition for themselves through the national interest waiver. Let's say you go to school and maybe you invent something, an algorithm, or you publish study that's very needed. It's a cutting edge. Then you will be able to self-petition. You don't need an employer to petition for you, because it is in the U.S. interest that they keep you in the U.S. because you have benefited from the U.S. education. You have worked in the U.S. They don't want to lose your skills if you are not able to stay. Yeah.
All right. So I got a question. Some guys sent me DMs. So number one, someone's asking, can I work on a student visa? Because you said when you go on a student visa, you're not going to depend on the U.S. government for any means. So can you work legally as a student if you're on a student visa?
So when you're on a student visa, you can only work on campus for 20 hours minimum on campus, like in the library, in the coffee, in the cafeteria.
Okay.
Or work for professors. Some professors do. Oh, there's this thing. There's this option called CPT, which is curricular practical training. But that usually happens after you finish your bachelor's degree. You can, or within your bachelor's degree, like it's like an internship. But you have to apply. You have to go to a college that does CPT, like curricular practical training, and you need to have a job offer. However, the CPT takes away from if you choose to work during school using your practical training. It means upon graduation you're not gonna be able to use it because you passed one year. So those are the options. Another option is if you are eligible for extreme hardship. For example, during like people from, let's say people who were here in the United States from Ukraine, right, before the war, and they were students on student visa, they were paying their tuition, and then the war happens, they are not able to pay because maybe their parents or whoever was sponsoring them is now unsafe. So you are eligible to apply for extreme hardship so that you can work outside of campus. Okay. But you have to be approved for that. Yeah.
All right. So someone's asking.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So I got a second question. Again, guys, I don't know why people are sending DMs. They're shy to speak. So someone's asking a question again, that you mentioned all the pathways to immigration, but you didn't mention if a child is born there. Is that immigration? I think it's been trying to ask if a student has a child. That process of, someone is...
born in the US?
Yeah, so I'm a student. So he's saying you didn't mention the process of a child born in the US to a student. So is there a pathway?
Wants to say. So so now that's the famous birthright citizenship that executive action. So as soon as Trump took office, he introduced an executive action that will prevent anyone who is not a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident who gives birth in the U.S. for that child not to become automatically a U.S. citizen. basically, if one you have to have one parent who is either a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. People here need to understand citizens and the permanent residents, they have almost the same rights except maybe 2 or 3. So if you are a permanent resident and you are married to a student, international student, and you have a child, under this new executive action, that's when you have your child will become a citizen. However, that's an executive action that was struck down by almost all the federal courts because the president wanted to change the 14th Amendment, I believe, the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which says anyone who is born in the United States or under the jurisdiction of the United States, meaning even in Puerto Rico, on a U.S. airplane, that person is a citizen. So basically in the U.S. we have we have both. We have soilies, like soil. You are given a citizenship by soil, like because you are born in the United States, or you are born of U.S. citizens. So you have both. But the president wants to change that to only to be born, if you are born in the U.S. from a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, at least one parent.
Yeah.
So as of today, anyone who is born in the United States, except those who are not under the jurisdiction, for example, children of diplomats, they are not automatically U.S. citizens because the diplomats, they are not under the jurisdiction of the United States. But if you are born from a citizen, a green card holder, a student, a visitor, you are a U.S. citizen. So it has not been able to be applicable because the U.S. Supreme Court has yet to decide, and all the jurisdictions, even those who the most red states where even Trump appointed even his own appointed judges have blocked that controversial executive action limiting birthright citizenship.
Yeah, I mean, Claudine, again, I get that a lot of people are saying that they would like to get the pathways if it's written out or repeated. And I'm sure you can repeat it 3 times and folks are still going to join later on.
Well, they can also go to my website. I really have...
where is it on the website? So if I'm on the website, where do I see those pathways? Like I'm on the website.
There are, so if you go to the website, there's employment-based, there's family-based.
I see it. Okay. I see it. Okay.
So you'll be able to see the pathways.
So is it where you have services, where you have business solutions, refugee?
Yeah. So the services, we have we have even blogs.
Okay.
So there are different scenarios to immigrate. And what the strongest one I would say is through if you are a student, right? If you're an international student, to be able to keep your international student status and work through the opportunities, the OPT, and of course here in the US you have to network to stand out. Most people, I would say, Kalu from Nigeria. Nigerians really are very, very bright, so they really take advantage of those pathways a lot. I guess because also nobody's gonna. I don't think I've seen that many people apply for asylum from Nigeria.
I know someone that did. Maybe it's as a case study for you. I know a lady that was a victim of domestic violence in Nigeria.
Right. Those are the issues that will be granted asylum.
Okay.
The issues of domestic violence and the taboo, but no political, no nothing.
I see.
That one is not gonna pass.
Okay.
So that means then, if you are a student, you have to keep your student visa and work. There are opportunities after you finish school to, like I said, you get 1 year of work authorization. Like you can work for anybody. You can even create your own company, right? And then from there you can self-petition. But it's not a fast process, but is a guaranteed process, right? Because it could take you years before you become a citizen, but you'll be eligible to work, travel, and then you apply for work visas. There are different visas. Like I said, there's H-1B, there's a J-1, there's a J visa, which is an exchange visitor's visa, and you can file for an extension, a change of status in the U.S. You don't even have to leave. And the J1, from J1, you can move to another visa until you are able to really get your green card.
Can I do change of status if I go as a tourist? Can I change my status to say immigrant?
So if you go to as a visitor, a visitor's visa is the same as a student visa. You are, like I said, you are not. It's not a dual intent, meaning you should not have intent to immigrate. So, and then I don't see how you can go as a visitor. They only give you 6 months. Right now, I think now for Nigeria, I think they are gonna give you maybe 3 months.
3 months, yes.
One entry only. So you don't really have that much room to change to an immigrant visa. However, you can change to a student visa. Like you can move to B1 to change to to F1, because B and F, visitor's visa and the student visa, they are both non-dual intent, so you can change to. I mean, if you within that time, of course, you are able to find school. So that will require you to have made some contacts, some other arrangements before you arrive, because you don't really have that much time. But you can extend your visitor's visa. You can extend, even if they give you 3 months, you can come and file for an extension. They give you up to 6 months, and you are allowed to extend up to 1 year. So, but to go from visitor to immigrant visa, no, it's not possible unless in some few circumstances. Let's say you were already engaged, or you were married, then you can file a marriage petition. But they are very scrutinized because you should not have an intent to immigrate.
Dual intent, you said.
Right.
But just to be clear, I can travel as a tourist to go see San Francisco, and I go to San Francisco and I go to Sanford, and I'm intrigued by going to school in Sanford, and I apply. I become a student in Sanford. That is allowable.
Yeah, it is. The only issue will be the time.
The time, if I'm able to get my admission.
So you may need to extend your visitor's visa so you can complete all the arrangements and then switch to F1.
And I do that, my extension in the States.
So you can change. It's not automatic. So when you file for any change of status, it takes a while. It takes a few months to get processed, and you can only start school after your F1 change of status is approved. I mean, F1 is a student visa, so let me not talk in terms. Yeah.
All right. I got a second question again for you. So in terms of the business pathway, you talked about if I invest in the US. Could we talk more about that? What do I invest? Do I have to buy a business? If I buy property, do I get any? Does it count? Like, talk more on that, on the amount, the process for investing to then get that visa. And is it visa for myself or is it my whole family? If I invest, do I get for myself? Yeah, just talk more on that, please.
So, So investment, right? So EB5.
EB5.
It used to be 500,000, and then they moved to like almost $1 million. There are two options under EB5. There is where you invest in what it's called. You invest with the other investors, right? So it's called a target regional center, or if you invest in a targeted employment areas. They say, you go in the city of Houston, and then they say, this area here in Southwest, it is very or Northwest, whatever. It's an area where there's no more business has run out. Like there's no business going on. So we need investors to come and inject some money and build, like maybe a shopping center so that we can have more business coming in and more employment. That's a targeted employment area, right? So for that, you need to invest $800,000. So the $800,000 has to come from unsecured loans. Like it cannot be a loan guaranteed. You can basically is money. You have to show where you got the money from. You have to trace the funds from the source. They don't want any funny business, criminal or whatever money. And you have to be, if you lose that 800,000, you'll be basically you burn. Like there's no guarantee. So it has to be unsecured funds. So and then when you invest $100,000, you are given a 2-year conditional green card.
Oh,
okay.
So let me see if I'm following. Just to make sure I'm following. So the target is 800,000, but if I invest the first 100,000, I get the conditional visa, the green card.
Well, so no. So what happens? Some people they say, okay, you have to show some steps in investing that money, but you have to be able to show okay, if you only invested 100,000, you have to show, okay, do you have the 700,000 readily available? Do you have that in escrow? Some people put in escrow account, and the banks have now how to set up an escrow account that's not going to be used for something else. So, and then they will give you 2-year conditional green card, and then in those 2 years, you have to come and invest a full amount.
Whoa, okay.
And after 2 years, before the expiration of your conditional green card, you have to file for a removal of conditions to get the permanent resident card. And you have to do that by showing that not only you have invested that money, the funds, the full 800,000, but also you have created jobs. You have created 10 jobs, 10 U.S. jobs, which is not hard. Like U.S. jobs, all the contractors you have used. Like if it's say you're developing a shopping center, that means you have already hired, architects. You have hired the contractors. You have an office manager. Basically, it's not hard to show the 10 jobs. The hard thing to do is to be able to show where each dollar of that 800,000 came from. Because you have to be able to trace it all the way to the source.
I see.
Yeah.
So
but if you don't invest in the targeted area, and you have to be careful, it has to be an approved targeted employment area, like through the state. Some states, you have to go through the states to see which targeted area. You have to get a letter from the state to say, yeah, this is a targeted area of employment. Or you invest in a regional center. They are approved regional centers. The issue with the regional centers, some of them, because you are putting money in the pool of other investors. Sometimes it's hard to see, okay, how can you basically prove that your 800,000 created these jobs if your funds have been put with other funds, right? So if you don't want to deal with the targeted area employment or the the regional centers, and you have enough money, you can then invest $1 million and $50,000, $1,050,000, and you invest anywhere you want. So you gave an example of building a house. So it's not enough that, okay, I come and buy a residential property for $1 million. No, it has to be for commercial use. It has to be development type or like a real estate investment, not like it has to have more. You have to be able to show how it's going to become a business.
So you're saying
and
I can't buy the house just to live in my personal house. I'm going to live in. It's got to be a house for commerce, for business, as an investment in the States. That's what I hear you say.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And I think they're also called opportunity zones. That's what they're called. I think opportunity zones are what they're called in the US, where you can invest and you get those tax breaks and all that.
Yeah, I mean, those are these, like states like in Texas. So I'm gonna give you an example. Back in I don't know when the whole Venezuela issue happened. So a lot of people invested here in Texas.
Yeah.
A lot of Venezuelans. They were so in areas in the north. I think it's northwest or something. So they were investing under AB5. So because they were the bankers, because usually banks are very skeptical if you don't have a green card, if you don't have a citizenship to give you loans to even deal with you. Because mind you, you only have to show that you have 100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whatever above 100,000, you can get a loan from the bank.
Oh. Say that again. I have to. It's 800 is a target. I can do the 100 and get the rest from the bank.
No. You have to have 100 because if it's a big project, so you only have to show you 800,000.
Okay.
Unsecured. But if it's a huge project, like a project where you have like like Airbnbs or you wanna do development center, like where you have it's a huge project. You can get a loan from banks. So and also opportunity zones is where they don't really the states in terms of state taxes, like Texas is very good, where the landlord laws are lenient. So I think opportunity zone is more also regarding the taxation and whether to get loans and less regulations from the states. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I don't think it has to do with immigration per se.
Perfect. So when you said shared investors, does that mean I can do this with other investors? Is that what that means?
Yeah. So if you can bring in on other investors, but you have to be able to show your part. You're only basically what you are required, because you are investing, but also you need a paperwork, right? You need to get a green card. You need to get a pathway to citizenship. So you have to be able to distinguish your personal investment that complies with immigration laws.
Okay.
Even if you are bringing in other partners.
So I have to bring in 800. Like if I have a constituent that's bringing in 1.2, I have to bring in 800 myself. Two Nigerians can apply and bring in 400.
No, unless it's a couple.
So a couple can do 400. Okay, got you. Just want to clarify that point. Okay. So when I get it, then I get the paperwork, and okay, fantastic, got that. I have a DM for you again. I think it's before we leave the student visa. Someone's asking about Harvard. He just wants to get some clarification, right? The Harvard issues vis-a-vis immigration and visa, right?
The issue has been resolved.
It's been resolved
in the court system. I think that the courts have said no, you cannot. So remember when we began, I told you that ICE has works with the universities to give them under the service program.
Yeah.
Like you can only bring in international students if the government allows you to, and there's a system to track. So the Harvard situation, it was like, okay, the Trump administration wanted to say Harvard will no longer get international students because they're not gonna have I-20 to give out the forms, the process. right? So that was the Harvard. But I believe that has been a federal court has blocked the government from doing that because you have to be able to show why they're singling out one university. Like that's, there are so many laws.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's they still have international students, but I think they also still have other issues between the government and Harvard that are not necessarily linked to student visa. They are.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't follow it much, but I know the international student issue has been resolved, or
all right,
the process being resolved. Yeah.
Gotcha. Someone is sending me that, Carlo, people don't want to talk because the U.S. government is now tracking social media and want to apply for visa. Interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, yeah. So that's a good point. So right now, Carlo, you were pro-Trump. Remember I told you Trump is bad news? Okay, remember?
I'm conservative, if I put it that way.
Sure.
Anyone that cuts...
Conservative, but does it maybe it's good for you, but your country... your African brothers.
Claudine, while we're on the topic, let me give you this scenario, case study of Nigeria and what I saw in the US in immigration. I have a friend in Nigeria, SAP certified SAP, so IT guy. His wife was a nurse. His wife's an American citizen. She lives in the States. He lives in Nigeria. He applied to go to the United States to join her. When he applied, he has been going to the US and back. They denied his visa because they said you have a spouse abroad. You have a house abroad. You can no longer apply for a tourist visa. You have to apply for an immigration to immigrate.
Immigrant visa, yes.
Good. But to apply for that visa, the backlog is 3 years. So for 3 years, he was going back and forth to the visa. Let me just give you a story. He couldn't go again for the next 3 years. Now, do you know what happened? His other friend went to Mexico and crossed the border. No problems.
Yeah, okay, I can explain that. First of all, is his wife a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
It took 3 years?
Yes, it took 3 years in Nigeria to get the appointment in Nigeria. 3 years backlog. So 3 years to get the appointment to travel. And of course, the reason why is because the press was crowded in the States. They had this surge of folks across the border. They had no time to deal with the legal immigrants. So the legal immigrants in Nigeria that are applying, that are following the law.
Those are talking points because only a few people, I guess we get. I really wanted to speak about that particularly, but let me address that your friend's situation. First of all, if his wife who have applied early, like as early as possible for his I-130 petition, because you have to apply marriage petition here first.
Where's here? In America?
Yeah, here in the US, sorry.
Okay.
And then once it's approved with the US immigration, USCIS, US Citizenship and Immigration Services, then that's when it's sent to the National Visa Center, and then you have to send all the paperwork, and the National Visa Center communicate with the embassy, and the embassy schedules an interview. So I do a lot of marriage petitions in Africa. I've done in Nigeria. The hardest, the longest is to get the petition to be approved here in the US. And when really to give credit to the Trump administration and all the administration, a marriage petition, especially when the spouse is separate from the they are separate, they are like long distance. They try to make it as fast as possible. I think of all embassies, of course, after COVID, I think Ivory Coast, I have a case now in Ivory Coast. I have to go check actually. That's the one that has taken a while. But the other ones, like Cameroon, Lagos, take long to schedule them for an interview.
Okay.
So maybe they just took their time to file, and sometimes the paperwork you have to, because it's a lot of paperwork.
No, it was a specific issue. It was because he was told that it's because they were overloaded in America, processing that they were overloaded. That's what he was told, because it took 3 years. And
well, he could have also his wife would have gone to see. That's one of the things I tell people. If your case has been pending for a long time, you can go to your U.S. Congress representative, and they will help you speed it up. Because if it should not take more than a year for a marriage petition.
Okay.
Citizen.
You remember there was also the court case that they sued. So all that affected him. The court case, they took the department to court. But just I just put it out there that the perception is that if you break the law, you get these things faster. But if you follow the process, you get it slower.
So we're about to talk about that now. It's not really.
Okay, but let me ask, because I think that's why people are sending lots of DMs and not speaking. But I don't think you should speak, guys. Don't get too scared. So someone else is asking. This is a question. Let me see if I can still find it. Someone's asking a question. So just to be clear, if the U.S. government sent an email to Nigerians that said you cannot travel abroad if you are pregnant, is this legal? Can they stop me from? I have a visa and I want to go have a baby abroad. They sent an email that that you cannot travel.
Send them an email?
Yeah, she said that the U.S. government sent it was published in the papers that you cannot travel if you are pregnant. Is this legal, or are they just doing it in Nigeria? Kindly assist.
I don't know. I don't know if they sent an email, but they did put an announcement saying that those people who are coming to the United States to have to give birth and go back, they will be they will face some consequences. For example, if someone has a visa and they are visibly pregnant and they come at the border, they may just say, no, we are not allowing you to come in, and there's no explanation.
Okay, but what's the offense? It sounds obvious, but what's the offense?
So because people are trying to come and give birth in the US, and they don't pay the bills. So here in the US, even if there's no universal health care, however, giving birth is considered as an emergency, and all emergency services, they are provided to anyone. Of course, they're not gonna send away a woman in labor because they don't have insurance. So people come to the US and they give birth, and the hospitals send them a bill later, and the bill they don't have any address. So that is in the record. Now it goes in the record of immigration, so that when next time that same person tries to enter the US, they will show her, look, last time you came here, you had you were provided the medical services. You owe the hospital this amount of money, because if the hospital doesn't get paid, so the government has to pay them, to reimburse them.
Understood. So it's really because of that, because of the folks that had come earlier and didn't pay. That's why they're going this, right? Is that what?
Yeah, and also now this is the whole thing that they don't want anybody to become a citizen, because anybody who's born here who's born on the soil of the US is a citizen, and now they want to limit.
That's
so
okay.
It's
okay. I have another question here. And why? Really, we are scared of the U.S. embassies for not asking questions? Okay, I have a question here on DM. Someone says, I was born in the U.S. I don't have a passport. All I have is a birth certificate.
Go apply for a passport.
So can I just go to the U.S. embassy and give them the birth certificate? How do I prove the name? So how can he prove that is him? He has a birth certificate. He can get
a birth certificate from. So anybody born in the U.S. You first of all, at the hospital where you are born, there's somebody who's in charge of the vital statistics. They come and collect the information and your fingerprints and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they send that to vital records of this county or city where you are born. So, I mean, if that's them, if he has they have the birth certificate issued by the authority here in the city or county where they were born, they can apply for
for
a passport. However, though, sometimes
he's asking.
Sometimes there are some. I don't know. You have to look. It depends on when they were born.
Okay, let me ask him what year he's asking. So with that birth certificate, if I go to the embassy, can they evacuate me from Nigeria?
Evacuate you from Nigeria?
That's what why?
You Nigeria?
That's what he's asking. He wants to leave. He wants to leave Nigeria. He has a birth certificate, so he's asking, is that enough to say I want to leave, go back to America? I don't have money for it.
No, you need a passport to travel abroad. Everybody needs a passport.
Okay, let me ask him. What year were you born?
Citizen, they need a U.S. passport. You cannot just bring your Nigerian passport and your birth certificate. You need to apply for your passport.
I've asked him what year he was born. If you know, just reply what year you were born, so I can. But let me go
Actually, I have to check.
You have to check.
There are some. Yeah, that's it. Case by case, I'm not gonna answer them here.
I see.
Okay. You can contact me, but there's some more physical residency requirement, but it may depend on when they were born.
Not a problem. All right, so this is our question. So, and this is also my question. It's a different way they are asking it. Why are people getting deported from the United States? I know it looks very, very like Hollywood, but what's the reason why someone can get deported from the States?
Okay, that's a good question. All right, so there are so many people who are here who already have a deportation order of deportation. Okay, so if you heard the immigration czar, like the crazy guy, he said there was a 1.3 million people with final orders of deportation or removal. We call them removal now. They don't do, but it's deportation. 1.3 million people. Just because. Okay, so this is the thing. When immigration proceedings, it's a civil. There are civil proceedings. It's not like a criminal proceedings, right? So it means if someone is, so you were talking about people who come at the Mexico border and get in the U.S. and they go to court. They are not in detention. They are not detained. They cannot detain people anyway, by the way. Mm-hmm. They cannot detain by law. They cannot detain someone longer than a period of time without any reason. They have to release them out. They can give them, the ankle monitors, but, most of them, they were not given ankle monitors. They were not given anything. So, but they go to court. Once you go to court, most of them really, those are people, I would say, right now, almost 100% they get denied. And the reason why I will tell you, and this one is gonna make you happy, Kalu, because you're not a Biden fan. So during the Biden administration, right, it looked as if they were allowing people in the country, correct? Mm-hmm. However, in May 2023, the Biden administration put in place a rule that stated that if someone circumvents the pathways, like they don't come, so basically they wanted you to come, go at the border, say, hey, CBP is Custom Borders Protection, I am Claudine and I need asylum. Mm-hmm. And then they will give you an app. They were even giving them phones with the CBP app, and then they tell you, okay, now here's a number, come back on Tuesday or whatever. so that you are processed in. So if most people didn't do that, most people instead they will just go through the fence, they will just jump or the fence, they will go through, illegal ways. Those people who did that after May 2023, who entered illegally, they were automatically banned from asylum, except those with children, like, who are accompanied by minors, or those who in harm's way, like who were like bleeding or they were fleeing, like basically who if you were in a bad condition. But most people, of course, they don't already having, because most people who came at the border, they were mainly men, like they were literally male, and they didn't have any children, they were by themselves. So that means even if they go to court today, that they are blocked by that rule. So they don't win. So 100% they are denied asylum, but they go through the appeal process. You have due process. You go through the appeal process. It's gonna take years. So finally, after they finalize the appeal process, they have been given the full due process rights. There will be a final order of removal. But they are not detained. They are here. They are like they are living their life. So there's 1.3 million people in that situation. So that's what the government is supposed to be looking for, because once you have a final order of removal, there is a warrant for your arrest automatically. Okay, there's ICE they go to court to get a warrant to arrest you, so they can arrest you anytime. So that's what ICE agents they are supposed to arrest. But we have seen where they are arresting even U.S. citizens because they are going by, if you are brown, you must be an immigrant, and then they arrest people. You have seen where they arrested that guy from El Salvador who did not have a final order of removal. He had a withholding of removal. He was not supposed to be removed to El Salvador, but they deported him there. That was a huge case when all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court told the government, you have to bring him back. Finally, they brought him back. He's back here in the U.S., and they are trying to now put him again in removal proceedings. So I don't know if he's out. I think he's out on bond now.
I think they're charging for a different case for human trafficking. That's where he's at right now.
They are trying to, but I don't know if it's gonna work, because that's a criminal case. He did not have a criminal case. He didn't. He had some domestic violence, but they were dismissed. So I don't know. But the main thing is they deported him when they were not supposed to deport him. They deported him to a country that he fled, so they had to bring him back in the U.S.
Okay, so is that final order of deportation, those folks that ICE is going around getting, those are the guys that have that final order to be removed
that's what they're supposed
with a warrant, without... Okay, all right.
Yeah, they have a final order of deportation. Okay. There is a warrant for their arrest. They can arrest them anywhere they are, if they can identify them.
Gotcha.
So, but in the process, they do arrest people who are not supposed to be arrested. And other people. All right. So when you have a green card, that's why I always tell people, as soon as you qualify to apply for U.S. citizenship, you should go ahead and apply for it to have full protection as a U.S. citizen. This is because if you have a criminal record, you can lose your green card and you can be deported. Yes. So if you happen to commit a felony or some crimes against moral turpitude, like a domestic, our African people, domestic violence. It's a very, very one of the main. So driving under influence and domestic violence, so those are the main, and sexual assault. Those are the main crimes. Most the people I see anyway have charges they have. So if So let me give you an example. I had a client who was deported because he was charged of kidnapping. You know what that kidnapping was?
What?
His girlfriend, they had a fight, right? And then they were, I don't know where they were, and then he's like, come in the car, let's go. He's like, no, I don't want to go in the car. So the fact that he put him in the car without his permission, that's kidnapping.
Wow.
And that carries up to 20 years in prison. Of course, you don't get the full, but that's a criminal, that's a felony. If you have a green card and that happens to you with either sexual assault, DUI, if you have a DUI driving under influence, like two of those, you are done. So you can be deported even if you're a green card and you've been here for 10 years or 20 years. You can be deported. So those people also are being deported. If you have asylum, you are a refugee, and you happen to be linked to any rebel groups or any organizations that the U.S. does not like Hamas, you could face deportation.
Boko Haram and the rest.
Yes, Boko Haram.
Very interesting. I know. I'm going to come back to you, Claudine, on this because there was a police guy in Canada that was denied immigration because he was a member of the Nigerian police. That was it. But let's get Doctor. Doctor has been waiting a bit. Let's get Doctor to speak, and I'll come back to you on those specific cases. Doctor Obi, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm just listening to my sister Claudine. Thank you very much for the work you are doing. The whole system is, I know a lot of people who are under panic. There are people who have got married and they have like upcoming appointments where they were supposed to go do the interviews. And like a guy spoke to me yesterday. He's married. He's from Nigeria. He's married to a Black American. They live together like it's real marriage. It's not one of those. But he is worried that going for his interview because he's been hearing rumors that people go to interview and they get arrested and end up getting deported. I mean, so I just wanted to ask Claudine how, what kind of situation is that and what can he do? Because I was thinking, does he need to go with a lawyer? Because he's really, really very anxious. So I don't know if you can help my sister.
Thank you, Dr. Obi. So, which city is he in?
He's in Pennsylvania. I don't know what city. He's in Pennsylvania.
So that's Philly. Well, so right now, in general, those who get arrested during the interviews is because there is an outstanding warrant, like I was saying. Okay. And that's some people may have an outstanding warrant. Like, let's say you've been here for a long time, and maybe, and you may not even know if there's a pending case on you. I mean, it happened to one of my clients in the first Trump administration. We went to the marriage interview, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna arrest your client." I'm like, "Why?" And they showed me this warrant. So anyway, we were able to fight it, but he was indeed arrested in front of me. So that's the way. So if it's a marriage petition, like there's no. I mean, I've been going to USCIS every week now. I go every week now. There's no ICE there to arrest people. But those are the situations where it could happen because they have this office called FDNS. It's fraud detection, I don't know, services, whatever, that it's in the back. And if someone comes in for an interview and there is maybe a warrant for the arrest, maybe in the past they didn't go to court, they didn't, and then they were ordered. Like I said, I was saying, Carol, you can be here, you came here, you missed court and you didn't care. Well, when that happens, there is a warrant for your arrest. they're not gonna come search for you, but wherever they find you, they will go ahead and arrest you because they have a warrant. So those are the situations that normally will happen. Like even in the case I am in Texas, some of my, we share information with my colleagues, other attorneys, in situations that were arrested where I'm talking. There's an outstanding warrant for the person's arrest. Maybe it was order. Some people move and they don't change address, and then you miss court. If you miss your court date, you are ordered removed in absentia. You can redress the issue and get the person out, but it could happen. But if it's just like, okay, you've never been overstayed your visa, or even if you are overstayed, you were never in proceedings, you a regular marriage petition, they should be fine. But it's always good to go with an attorney, because an attorney is going to be able to say, okay, what's going on? In the case I was referring to, I was like, no, you're not going to take my client anywhere, even if they are very intimidating. But hey, you're not going to be intimidated. I'm like, no, I'm doing my job. I need you to show me why you are taking my client away. So then they give you a warrant, because they have to have a warrant to be able to arrest someone. Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So, doctor, what I hear, I mean, if he has no case, he should be fine. But take a lawyer, just Adamama,
Yes.
You know.
It depends on how many years you have been here.
The
you may have a case you don't know.
He's probably been here for about 4 years, if I remember. Mm-hmm. It's just the way people, spread.
Yeah, he should be fine. He should be fine. If he has no prior issues, no prior cases with immigration that's pending or was not resolved or he was not aware of, and then ended up being a deportation order, then he should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
This DACA thing, right? DACA. It's only the folks that cross the border. Is there any African DACA, this deferred action folks? Does it have? Are there any Africans under DACA, Claudine? Do you know?
Yeah, of course there are Africans under DACA, but proportionately, of course, it's few, because you have to understand in the U.S., African immigrants are less than 1%. So DACA, it's an old, it's during the Obama years. So people who were present in the United States before.
My question for Africa: if Obama come back, y'all gonna give him a chance?
Obama. Chance to do
what
did he do for Africa though?
To run for president? No, he can come back, because he's not going to let him hang. See, we could hang Obama here, but Obama's going to snitch on the whole democracy in America. If and when he is going to come back to Kenya, aka Africa, are y'all going to let him run?
Mr. Famous FPA.
I'm just wondering what he did for Africa in the first place.
Okay, let me answer her.
She's here to be distracted.
I think, let me answer her. I think I know where she's coming from. I don't know if Obama holds Kenyan citizenship, because Kenya is actually a country that has constitution and law, even though his father was from Kenya, so I believe he will hold the citizenship. Some countries have...
I think he would be good. I think he would be good, because he learned his lesson over here in the nation.
Yeah, but you don't just move into a country and run for president.
I know, but we can't. Well, if he comes back, because he has two options. Let me tell you what we're going to do with him. I'm going to tell you again. Either Obama's going to lie and say he did not know about the Russia collusion.
Should I take her off?
That's going to be treason.
Yeah, go ahead.
If he says, no, I'm not going to do treason, because Obama already confessed.
I don't know about that.
That's great to go.
What you think about Russian? I think she's a black lady, though.
They call them freedom something. FPS, I don't know.
District. I'm okay to add you back, but we don't do Russian collusion.
No, I don't think she's interested in immigration matters. She's more of there's a group of people who are just, I don't know, anti-immigrant, and they have these conspiracy theories. So I don't know if you want to entertain those, or you just want to
we're
continue
fine.
to educate
We're
people.
fine. Because I mean, the focus really in Nigeria is like there was a poll done in Nigeria, and they asked a lot of young people their number one goal. This was their number one financial goal, and the number one goal was to leave Nigeria. Heartbreaking, but that's what the poll said, and it's a very, very popular money saving app that ran that poll. So lots of folks really want to understand: is it legal to emigrate? If I want to do this, how is the right way to do it? And I think you've given us a lot of pointers. And a lot, because I'm going to ask you just to go back and do those points again. A lot of all the DMs are basically saying, can she go back?
Kalu, I am an immigration attorney, but I am one of the people who advocate for Africans not just to travel to the US without any purpose. You should see people who are being, like I told you, those who come across the border and then, jump the fences, 100%, almost 100%, 99%, they get denied, right? Yes, they get a jobs, but then they have to pay attorney's fees. They even struggling to pay attorney's fees. Most of them, maybe Nigerians because you guys speak English, but other people from like French-speaking countries or non-English-speaking countries, it's hard to find a job. Some of them are working for Amazon, but Amazon now is going, AI is taking all the jobs.
Amazon will hire you, give you benefits, healthcare, give you pension and everything. That's the one place where I see Amazon has 1.2 million employees.
No. Amazon now, let me tell you what's happening. Because I speak to my clients. So, you don't have a job, so they get 2 days a week or 3 days a week. That means you are part-time. Yeah. And some of them, they are contractors. They are not like employees of Amazon. Amazon contracts with another company to give them jobs, which means Amazon is not obliged to give them those benefits, right? So, which really they are struggling, and they may spend all these years here and then go back home. I hope they are, saving to go back home to build something back in their respective countries. But if you have money, because they spend money, some of them spend a lot of money. If you ask them, they spend like $20,000 to do what they need to do to get to the US. And okay, if you have $20,000 in Nigeria, can't you find something to do? Or if you can't find in Nigeria, can you go to Ghana? If you can you go to Rwanda, to Kenya? Can you go to Burundi? I think it's more of sometimes a mindset, because yes, the grass is green in the West, let's go there. But the cost and the struggle, if you don't have, there are pathways to come. We talked about student visas. We talked about all those who immigrate because of their skills or family. But if you just adventure to cross so many countries to arrive in the US, it's a really high risk, and people need to know those risks before they make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, the kid, I know a Nigerian that went to Nigeria in Cuba, got on a boat in Cuba, was trying to get to Florida, the boat capsized, he swam. True story. Swam to the beach in Miami, go on the beach in Miami, and that's like going to the United States. So people take a lot of risks. These are folks that walk through from Brazil, they walk through Mexico, then join the trains, and then get all the way to the border and join. It's a lot of, effort. Nigeria, they cross the Sahara. Get to Libya and all that, try to get to Europe. It's a lot. So if just knowing that I'm
But do they have information, or are they scammed? That's the thing.
no, you see what happens is when you say grass is greener,
Because
unfortunately,
they pay so much money to the people.
not really. I mean, when you pay the money, those are the guys that are quote unquote middle class immigrants. The folks that live in Nigeria, my barber a long time ago, he did the Sahara thingy. He got to Europe, he was deported. So they don't have money. If you have maybe back then maybe 50,000 naira, it's just to get your way to the Kano, the north of the border. You get to Niger. It's money for bribes. You just bribe your way through the checkpoint. Then you get to in Libya. That's when it starts to be there because it's hiding till you get to the coast. When you get to the coast, then you have to wait. Then they go into the water and try to get. The idea is once you're in the Mediterranean, they have ships from the EU that pick them up on humanitarian grounds and then take them into the ports of Italy, Malta. Or it's harder now, but that used to be the point. They'll take them in. And
but you know, kind of right. I can tell you that even that today, even that dangerous desert Sahara Libya route, you are looking at $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 in the minimum.
Pay to who? Who did it? These guys don't have $6,000 though. They don't have.
They
They don't have.
I'm telling you.
You need to speak to them.
Yeah,
They pay a lot of money.
By the time you get to Libya, I don't know how much you're going to cost, like for them to do all that and get to Libya. But for you to get on those rickety boats, you know, there's a lot of bribes that you will pay. There's a lot of agents that you will pay. You need at least $5,000. I don't even think it's going to be enough.
I think what I've heard is that when you get to Libya, some work, some do some other stuff, and then some get the money sent over to them. That's today. Send the money over to them, and then they pay. And in Libya, there's a market where there's this market where you can get money if you want to, like money transfer. They know, okay, you want money.
Yeah, so that means the person will probably leave some money back home, and some of them, especially the women, get so.
It's a mess, and they are not the thing really. When you say the grass is greener, unfortunately, the grass is greener. Oh my God! The grass, you know, this is the thing about that pains me so much about all this. You know, I used to work for a non-profit when I used to work at, like pro bono, and we used to go and help people in. You see people like come from Eritrea, from Nigeria, and they are there, and you ask them their story. You can't repeat their story on air, and you know they are here. Like I told the lady that applied for domestic violence, I know the state gave her a house. The state gave her giving her money to upkeep. She's in school. State is paying for her in school. She would never get that back home. Her husband came to the States to try to take her away, and the police put a restraining order on him. You cannot even come near. You know, so it's.
They already obtained asylum.
No, this is the process.
You know what, Carlo? I can tell you, right? I can say that the grass is not as greener as people make it. The reason why is this, right? When people try those things and get to whatever destination in Europe or even in the US, the kind of job they do, the kind of hustle they do, the kind of effort they put in, if they were willing to put in that kind of effort back home, they are still going to be, get some level of success. That's what I see.
I mean, Claudine is from Rwanda, right? And that's a very, very progressive. They sort of turned the corner and moving. You know, I can give you stories on this space.
Because Carlo, if somebody had $5,000, which as of today is like 7.5 million naira, a lot of people who decide they want to move whichever route, that's about at least what you need to be looking at. But I know that if somebody has $5,000 and they are thinking right, they are in the right frame of mind, in any part of Africa, whether in Nigeria, Rwanda, South Africa, Ghana, wherever, and you are willing to put in the kind of hustle, because when they come over here or they go to Europe, they do all kinds of jobs that they will never do at home. They will never do back home.
But right? Dr. Obi, what about the guys that take that money, get a shop, the shop is demolished, or take that money, customs seizes. Nigeria is you are one, or you are sick.
Traveling and fall inside the ocean and die.
Yes, but that's a guy is doing very, very well. He falls sick. He has just one sickness. One sickness kills him, like malaria.
And also, Carl, you know that those people who travel, right? The people who make it, especially like in the last 10 years or in the last 5 years, like back in the days, people go to Germany and 2 years they are back with money, and all those things don't work like that no more.
No more,
people who travel, maybe less than 10% of them actually, I was in Italy a couple of years ago, and I was like in the hoods, and I moved around. I was in Italy, I was in France, I was in Amsterdam. And I saw a lot of our people who are never, ever going to be able to come back, except that they are deported. So the thing is this, right? This success story of people travel and they make it. Right now, I feel that it's less than 10% that actually make it like that.
You have a point.
When those 10% come back home, everybody thinks, oh, I might go. And people sell their shop. People close their shop. Like, I know somebody who lives in a 3-bedroom apartment in Lagos, has a car, has a shop, taking care of his, of himself and his siblings, just doing pretty okay, right? But he has to sell those things to do this dangerous travel. And he gets there and he gets stuck. And probably the next 5-10 years, he's not going to be able to get some legal papers that will allow him to get home. So what I'm saying in essence is that the grass is not always as greener. The thing is that when you get there, like, you are stuck, your back is against the wall, so you got to put every effort. You're going to do all media job. You're going to do everything necessary to succeed. But back home, if the person is back home and you advise them, okay, for instance, I got to know about this rabbit farming. You know how you and how we used to talk about farming and stuff like that. So somebody was discussing about rabbit farming and stuff like that, and how it's better than poultry. This person gave analysis of how it works, how much you can invest, and how much return you can get. So I'm like, there are all these people that are disturbing me, asking for money, asking for this, asking for that. So let me run this idea with them and see if anyone is interested. So I run the idea with 2 people. One of them felt so insulted, right, that I'm even discussing about him and his wife, getting into rabbit farming. He felt that that's an insult. But the other person was interested in the idea, so I funded it. And this is like about 3 months. It's a little over 3 months now, and it looks from the report, from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's going to be a very good venture if it keeps to what it's doing now. So what I'm saying is, in essence, is that people back home will come up with, especially people who are like almost in the middle class, they will sell everything they have to migrate, and they end up in a very terrible situation. If 100 people does it, maybe, especially in these days, maybe like 10 or 15 will actually become that success in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But those ones who are suffering, you're not going to hear from them. You're not going to see them on Twitter. You're not going to see them on social media. They're just going to be suffering.
I hear you. I can see it. Let me get 2 guys to ask a question. Claudine, I want to come back to you with documentation, right, that we need to do this. But I've got Abushon Emmanuel. Did I get that name right? Emmanuel, did I pronounce your name right?
Okay, Abusim. Yes.
Abusim, how are you doing?
Abusim.
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
I'm very fine.
You got a question for Claudine? We're talking immigration, process, papers, pathways. What's on your mind?
Yeah. All right. So I have my question. I just want to give a background to my question. Actually, I think what Dr. B is saying make a lot of sense, because I experienced the same thing in Rwanda, where I saw someone retired from a bank, and then he moved to Rwanda, and it was amazing that in 2 years. In less than 2 years, he has spent 20 million naira just trying to settle down there, and life for him is quite tough. And I asked him question, why can't you just go back to Nigeria? And he said to go back to go and say what? A whole lot is happening to our people over there. Now, here's my question. When it comes to investment in Nigeria, especially for agriculture, because when you're talking about rabbit, I'm doing a whole lot in agriculture in Nigeria. Sometimes investors are quite greedy when it comes to investing in agriculture in Nigeria. As at last year, the the return of investment was quite good. At September, we bought oil for 35,000 naira. We're selling at 70,000 naira during December. Now, the same oil is at 41,000 in some places is 55,000 naira and all of that. Then we did maize 150,000, 105, and the same maize currently is now 45,000 naira, 35,000 naira. So sometimes it's dicey, the ecosystem is quite dicey. Can we look at how do we communicate investment properly to people in diaspora?
I think you have a valid question. I'm just wondering if it's on topic.
Yeah, yes. So because one of the reasons why many Nigerians are actually traveling abroad is to make it big. They want to make it. It's like,
I didn't touch him. He dropped off. I didn't touch him. I've got Mastermind. Hey guys, this if you can keep on topic, I would love that. Mastermind, you here? Masterminder, I mean. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Yourself?
Great, I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Greetings to you and your guest here, co-host. I do have a question about immigration, but I would first like to say that, for somebody to take the risk to try to make it to another country, especially like through the desert and overseas and that kind of thing, obviously they feel as though their situation is dire enough to take that kind of risk. And whether I think that it makes sense or not, I don't know their psychology, and I don't know what they're going through. I don't know their dreams and desires. So I think for me, it would be a little disingenuous to say, hey, it's not worth the risk, whatever. But I think that we probably need to give a little bit more empathy to people who feel as though they need to risk so much just to make it somewhere. I really do have empathy and sympathy for those people who have to go through all of that. So my question on immigration was, can you talk about the entrepreneur visa, or making it to the U.S. through entrepreneurship or through business ownership? I know the requirements are pretty hefty, but I just wanted to know if you guys could talk about that part, wherever you're coming from. It could be coming from Nigeria, but coming over through business ownership in the U.S.
We did talk around the $800,000 one. Is that the EB5 visa? Is that what you're talking about? Claudine had gone through that. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know if it's 800,000, but I know that there's one that does. There are requirements, and maybe it is 800,000. I don't know. But I know that there is a way to get over, but it is. I think the money required is a bit significant. But there's a way to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah. But apart from the EB5, is there any other business investments? You talked about.
So there is, and first of all, Mastermind. We are very empathetic. I'm an actual advocate for immigrants. I'm just saying here because this space is for African people, and to give realistic expectations and maybe kind of say, well, what were you expecting? Because when you have people, when I ask them questions, okay, so what was your expectation? What were you told? And they were told so many things that are not realistic. So that's why we mentioned, maybe is there any other way they can use, because they do pay a lot of money to cross all the way to the US or Europe, that they maybe could pay to do something else. So in terms of entrepreneurship, there's this. So I talked about the national interest waiver. I talked about the EB5, and there's also this entrepreneur parole, which is it's a new thing. It's not a visa. It's a parole. Basically, it's also geared to Silicon Valley type of venture capital type of business or entrepreneurship. Basically, if you you don't have any other visas, especially for international students, and then you cannot obtain a H-1B or any other work visa, but then you have investors interested in your endeavor, they can sponsor you for that parole. So it's not a visa, it's a status, and it gives you 30 months, and it's renewable one time. However, it can lead to permanent residency if you can prove national interest through entrepreneurship, or if you can increase the amount to 800,000 or 1,050,000 to get EB-5. It was initially implemented or put in place by Obama. The lady who was talking about Obama, and then the Trump administration, the first time they blocked it. When Biden took office, he revived it. Right now, it has not been touched, maybe because, like I say, Silicon Valley type of investors are they are benefiting from that. So, but for regular people who don't have any investors or who are not into innovative type of businesses, they are limited to achieve that parole. Yeah.
So can you apply for that in Nigeria, or you have to be in the States to apply for that status?
You can apply anywhere.
Anywhere, really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Okay.
What's it called? Just
It's called international parole. Let me see.
Okay.
International.
Mastermind, is that what you're talking about?
That one. I think there's another E2 treaty investor visa.
Yeah, the E2 treaty investor visa is mainly for European countries and some African countries.
Oh.
Surprisingly, Cameroon is one of E2 investor country.
Nigeria is not there, Claudine. We're not there.
No, Nigeria is
not.
Well, I don't know if South Africa. I don't think South Africa.
Cameroon is there. We're not there.
Country. I think it's Cameroon. It is Congo, Brazzaville, which now is banned.
How is Nigeria not there, Sha?
Let me actually put up African countries E2 visa. I can put up the list.
Someone should inform Abike that.
That's why we didn't talk about that, because
I'm googling it. E2 visa. You said E2 visa?
Yeah, investor visa.
E2 visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows citizens of certain countries, which the U.S. maintains a treaty of commerce and navigation.
Okay. So let me tell you the countries. There's Cameroon, Congo, Brazzaville, Congo, Kinshasa, DRC, Liberia, Morocco, Egypt, Ethiopia, Senegal, Togo, and Tunisia. Right now, Congo, Brazzaville is fully banned from any visas to enter the U.S. Togo is banned. So I guess other countries can be able to.
But Nigeria was never in this list, even though we maintain.
Nigeria was never.
How come?
So,
even South Africa is not.
What's the reason to ban Togo and Congo Brazzaville?
Overstays, I think. That's what I read. The word overstays. That's what they wrote in the paper.
But overstays, how many citizens of
I know they banned.
Those are very small and stable countries.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm saying. So full travel ban. National from Chad, Republic of Congo, which is Brazzaville, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Libya, Somalia, Sudan are currently banned from entering the U.S. on both immigrant and non-immigrant visa.
Wow.
That also means you can't even petition for your spouse to come. The only exception is for refugees and asylees. Yeah. And then you have Togo is partially banned. Burundi and Sierra Leone for visitors visa. They can come on E2. But yes, so E2 is available for. It's a non-immigrant status. You can invest. It doesn't really give you the ceiling or the threshold. It's investment. So it depends on the business.
The language says there is no set minimum, but the investment should be substantial enough to show commitment.
Right.
So I mean, this is a great
Okay.
visa, and we don't have it in Nigeria. I mean, someone should copy someone, maybe at
Yeah, but they have
BK
it in
or Minister
Cameroon.
of.
They have it in
Yeah, if Cameroon has it, why don't we have it?
Congo, Egypt, Morocco,
Come on, people.
Congo, Brazil. So I've never seen people using it.
Someone should tag at BK, please. Okay, thanks. Mastermind, are you? I think we've gotten E2, we've gotten the international parole, and what's at the EB5? That's from your question. So I think we did good there, right?
Yeah. The question's been answered. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Let me get Ramsey. Ramsey, how you doing?
Hello, sir. I'm great. Thank you for giving the opportunity. So I know you're speaking about the pathway of immigration processes to probably going out, right? But I'm looking at it. Could there also be a pathway for, maybe returning to African countries to do the same things that we can also bring investment? For instance, even to visit Nigeria, the requirement is that you have to know someone in Nigeria that writes and give a passport page of his own or our own passport data page to invite you to come. But let's assume that I had money. I wanted to visit Nigeria just to take a look at Nigeria, maybe not to invest yet, but just to take a look. And why do I need to know someone in Nigeria? I have money.
Very correct.
So I think we can also look at that part as well.
Ramsey, you can visit Rwanda. It's just.
Yeah, I will be coming there. But I myself am a Nigerian citizen, so I hold a different passport. But to visit Nigeria, I was required to have someone write.
Ramsey, I have friends in the States, and a lady sent me a page from Ghana. And in Ghana, they have what you're talking about, where if you want to come back to Ghana and get an African name and buy a house in Ghana, they have this estate in Ghana that they built to American standard with the plugs and everything. In Ghana, you can do that.
Also Benin too.
In Benin, they have, if you want to go and see where the slaves went out of, they'll do a ceremony. They have all that stuff. In Senegal, they have a tour.
You can visit Rwanda and also do business.
Oh my God. Rwanda is a Singapore of Africa. Have I said that already? Yeah, okay, good job, Claudia.
And it's easy. They have made it easy. You just need to do a hashtag visit Rwanda, and everything is online. Actually, so an anecdote, right? When I was doing my master's in international law, one of the courses we had was international research, something, and we had a project. So what I did is because I was an international student, not international student, but I was from abroad. So they'll say, is to get good points for you to get an A, maybe you should do a research to have like a outline of how people can visit your country, to do investment, the laws and everything. So I did all of that and I got an A.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And that was before the visit to Rwanda, I wish.
But as I say, Ramsey raises a great point, though, that we are talking about going out, but we make it very, very hard. I mean, one reason why the US gave Nigeria just the three month single entry is because they said reciprocal. To come to Nigeria from America is very difficult. Bill Gates at the time complained that he had to go get a visa to come to Nigeria. I don't know why Nigeria is making it so difficult, like Ramsey is saying. If you want to come to the country to visit us, we should actually be saying land and get visa on arrival. I don't know why it's so difficult. Why are we dragging with them to say they give us 6 months, we give them 6 months? We are the ones looking for the FDI, So Ramsey, I think it's a great point you're making, that we've got to make the country, not just to say we want investments, but even at the airport and the paperwork to get through the airport, it should be easier. Why should Nigeria go get a visa? If you're Nigerian with an American passport, you have to go get a visa to come to Nigeria. Why? Why? Why can't you come and say my father is? Why does it? It's a great point though. We have to make it easier because you're bringing money back to invest in the country, and that should be the number one thing. And you're bringing folks back. So excellent, sir. I thanks for that. Claudine, I was going to come back. Ramsey, are you okay? You got your question in? You're good?
Yeah, the last part that you say, it's not just getting a visa. It's just required that a Nigerian, someone who is a Nigerian that has international passport has to invite me.
Yeah.
Why must someone invite me? Can I just pick interest in Nigeria and go to Nigeria without knowing anyone in Nigeria?
Yeah.
So you need a visa to go to Nigeria?
No, I think that requirement should be removed because there are a lot of people who may have money and want to visit Nigeria, but they may not know people in Nigeria to write and invite them and be willing to give them their data page of their passport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world you go to, you can. Like, I went to Kenya. You just walk in, you get a visa, and you walk in. I haven't been to Rwanda. Maybe I'll come, but I'm not sure they ask for data page.
There's no visa required for African.
Yeah, but why should
Nigeria? But you have to have a Nigerian.
It's true. I've stopped over in Kigali before. I was en route to back to the US from Nigeria. I stopped over in Kigali. And I had a US passport. I didn't have my Nigerian passport. And they told me it would have been easier if I had a Nigerian passport to go into Rwanda.
Oh,
that was
interesting.
I thought my US passport would make everything easy for me. But actually, they said if I had a Nigerian passport, it would have been
You don't have to pay.
Wow.
But when you have a US passport, you have to pay.
The same thing happened to me in Togo. The same thing happened to me in Togo. When I went to Togo, and they told me I didn't have a ECOWAS passport. I had a US passport. I was supposed to go get a visa. But if I had a Nigerian passport, I would not have needed that.
So Nigerian passport is needed when you fly into some.
Yeah, because I travel with US passport. I go to Nigeria with a visa, because I know I'm Wahala. But I last time I landed, I probably need to have my Nigerian passport along with me.
Good point. Good call out.
You can quickly apply for ECOWAS travel document in any of the West African countries to be able to travel around with the US passport as well.
Okay,
good point. Claudia, I wanted to come back to you on this issue of immigration and papers and passports. Mostly the guys in South America, they have these documents that they give to their citizens when they're in the United States. And those documents are accepted by banks. For instance, they have what they call the consular card that Mexicans give to their citizens. They get it, I think, in the US. And the banks in America accept that document to open an account. I think Guatemala has the DUI card, the national identity card. There's the border crossing card. Why don't Africans really have this? Because in a way, when you come into the country, you don't have a passport, you don't have anything. It gives you ID, verifiable with your picture and all that. And you can then go and then you start that process of getting paperwork in the States. Do you have any experience? Do you know this, what I'm talking about, this paperwork that I'm talking about?
Oh, the consular card?
Yeah, the consular card from Mexico that they give to them, and they're able to use it to then do processes inside America. I mean, I don't think any African country has anything like that we issue, apart from a visa, which is not issued by us.
I think some countries have consular card. Mm-hmm. I think, again, Rwanda has a consular card. Cote d'Ivoire has a consular card, but I don't know if it's a picture. It gives a picture. It's a picture ID.
Yeah, this is almost like a passport.
It's used for, if you want any services from the embassy, you have to have a consular card.
Yes, exactly. And the US banks accept it. So
the US banks accept. There are some banks that do not accept any, they are very
foreign
strict.
ad. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like Bank of America, if you have an ID, you have a passport, you have a visa, you can open an account.
Yeah. If you go if you have a passport and a visa, those are two forms of ID. They will accept. They would accept it.
A visa.
No, if you have a visa,
you have to shop around the banks. Like the big banks, maybe not. Like some of the big banks, like Bank of America. I know it's not if you have a passport.
I know.
Of course. So how you get here without a visa?
I know for a fact that if you go to Wells Fargo, if you have...
Oh no, Wells Fargo, no.
But
I know Bank of America, yes.
No, but I'm telling you, they will open an account for you with if you walk in with your passport, your foreign passport, and you have a local ID. So you have a Nigerian passport and have a driver's license from the US. They open an account for you.
No, even if you have a visa in your passport, they open.
Yes, a student 2 of
visa.
them.
Like students, when they come here, they don't have yet an ID. They have their passport and they have their visa.
Right.
So they open accounts. But like you said, it's not like all the banks.
Yep.
You have to really know which bank accepts.
Okay, and again, most of the DMs I'm getting are to do with spouse. If I'm pregnant, to do with student visas, we've covered that. To do with the business visas, we've quite a lot of that. I'm just looking for any new one we really haven't covered. If I'm in this, so yeah, Claudine, if I'm in America and I do not have paperwork, I'm in America. What can I do today?
How you're in America, you don't have it. How did you get here?
He came in.
That means
The visa has expired. His visa has overstayed his visa, so now he has no. He's overstayed his visa. What is the legal thing to do at this moment?
There must likely nothing legal to do.
No, are you dating someone who is willing to marry you? That is only way out.
You can say that. I cannot say that.
Well,
I heard you.
So Ramsey is saying, I'm replying to the gentleman that's asking. So the answer came back: if you are dating someone that is willing to marry you, then you can apply for the spousal.
But you have to be aware of marriage fraud.
Marriage fraud.
Very now, very, 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 very.
Just fall in love with them and marry them for real.
Yeah, because once you
You
are
gotta be careful
bad,
about that.
once they
And
define.
don't look for beautiful ones. It's gonna be more.
Dr. Obi, don't joke about this thing. No, I beg, because people are. It's a serious question, Doctor. They're actually asking like a guy has come
the
there.
fraud is a big deal. It's so once you are found to be, you are. There's a bar. It's called 204C bar, and there's nothing. There's no, even if you after that you marry somebody for good reasons, you get a job, you cannot immigrate in the United States.
Wow.
Other than maybe the only way you can have, basically it bars you from almost any other than humanitarian, other than asylum
So if you do marriage fraud, you cannot apply for any other sort of visa apart from the humanitarian ones and all that. And
if it's determined that you have, like they determine that. You can challenge that, but once it's determined, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing to sneeze about. So like, tough one. So the guy can't go and he can't join the U.S. Army. That's what it's asking. Can he join the U.S. Army?
So to join the U.S. Army, you have to have a green card. So before they used to say, okay, you can join the Army and then be a pathway to your citizenship, but now they are requiring you to have a green card. Even asylums, I don't think they're allowed. You have to have a green card.
No, asylee are technically permanent resident when they are approved to stay, so they can join. But that to this gentleman, whether it's a man or a woman,
they're not.
The
you
only
have to
way
apply
is,
for a green card within a year of your asylum or refugee status. You are not technically, no. You have to apply for it to have a green card. You are eligible, but you're not.
So this guy, the only option for this guy is to lie low for 3 years. His only option is to lie low.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he has the option that I mentioned earlier. If he's dating someone seriously and they love themselves, they can discuss marriage. And I think that's the only way. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, you've heard, Mr. Chief, you've heard. So yeah, that's the best advice I've got. Let me look for another good DM out here. So I am a student. This one is good. I'm a student. I've done my master's. I'd like to go get my PhD. Yeah, we've covered that. Clint has said if you
PhD?
Yeah, he said he's done his
master's. Schedule a consultation with me to see options.
Oh, is there anything I need to know about? Is there any? Is your antenna going? Spider sense going beep beep? Is there anything he's doing wrong? He says he's done masters. He'd like to go do PhD. You're saying he has to go see a lawyer?
No, to know the pathways.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Mr. E.
Because he's a good candidate. They may be a good candidate for either national interest waiver or even EB1, which is extraordinary ability. the Einstein, they call the Einstein visa.
Okay. Yeah, so she's not saying you are in trouble. She's saying you might, basically your options, to review options for you because you might have other pathways apart from just what you're considering. That's what she's saying. Just to clarify that, yeah. So you're not in
If
trouble.
you ask questions of the path he's taking.
Yeah, just DM her. Yeah, I don't want to call you. Just
No,
DM.
her. Like so once you go on my profile, there's a way to contact me.
Sorry, she has her.
Yeah, and then
law
they
firm.
can say, "Oh, I was in the space with the Kalu," and then I will know.
Gotcha. Perfect, that works. Mastermind, your hand was up a bit.
Yeah, just wanted to ask your guest about opening a business, as a foreigner in the U.S. So if you come over to the U.S., you can obtain an ITIN, an individual, tax number.
Yep.
And that tax number will allow you to do things like start an LLC or get a bank account. Those things are easy to get. I think the only thing with the bank account is that you have to have like some form of ID, but other than that, you can start an LLC. Now, this doesn't help you with your visa, meaning you can stay if you're not supposed to be here, but I have known people that are able to get certain jobs, 1099 jobs, with an ITIN number as opposed to a social security number.
True.
But I just wanted to ask your guest about that. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with your immigration status per se.
Well, I think it does. I think it ties in. It's a great question. It ties in, yeah. Claudine, so he's basically talking about using the ITIN, instead of getting, you don't have a social.
ITN. So everybody can get an ITN number, or TIN number, tax identification number, because the government wants their taxes; they don't care with it anyway. However, and that's how a lot of people do to circumvent immigration. However, now you are engaging in unlawful employment. Some people, they gotta do what they gotta do. However, with this administration now, before, the Social Security was not supposed to disclose information. So one of the executive actions that was put in place was to allow the Social Security Service Office to disclose people with TIN number who don't have any paperwork. So now they can.
Whoa.
So, and it's been going in the court processes. I haven't checked, but I know for sure they gave the injunction. So some of the advocates for immigrants filed injunction to enjoin the government from accessing the Social Security, or not the Social, the IRS information. However, even the U.S. Supreme Court did not enjoin, meaning now the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, is able to access IRS information from undocumented individuals, even though we don't know what the final ruling is going to be. So, yes, people do that because they have to find a way to survive, but they are in a breach of immigration law. And if now with their information is given, they may be able, the DHS may pursue them and put them in legal proceedings, and yeah.
But on I'm not a lawyer, right? I'm not a lawyer, but on a personal note, I'd rather have it. I'd rather have the business with the ITIN, and I can argue in court that I'm doing business in America.
So that's the thing. People, they were like, okay, if you pay into the system and you pay taxes, you may be given an amnesty or given a pathway to citizenship, and a lot of people really do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the administrations change. This is
exactly.
3 years and a half,
exactly.
And you never know.
So I mean, so back to that person, Mastermind, back to the guy that asked the question before. So maybe another thing he could do is to go set up a business, use an ITIN to register an LLC.
Yeah, but as an attorney, I cannot advise anybody to do that.
To do that
work
because
on lawful.
No.
okay.
Yeah, you can. It's interesting because Canadians do it all the time in the U.S. So when you go down to Florida and see all those people with houses and stuff in Florida, they do something. They go through a similar process.
No,
but
you can have an LLC. So the LLC means it's a company. So once you have a company, as long as you do not work, like actually work for your LLC, you can invest anywhere in the world. But the thing is, if you are actively working without authorization, not just your company, you can have a company and set up the ways to give you dividends in your Canada, wherever you are, but not work for the company, like not do productive work without authorization. Like,
So you
I think you can work. You can work, but it has to be 1099.
no.
So if you're an LLC, from what I understand, I may be wrong.
No,
Still, you don't have a work permit.
You don't have a work permit. So if you go, you can. But IRS will take your money because they want their money. But for employment purposes, if you say you're Canadian, you come here as a visitor, you are already breaching. You are actually you are not in a compliance with your visitor status, because as a visitor you are not supposed to work. So if you get a 1099, then it's going to be a problem. However, you might need to get an accountant to see how they can, because there are some like dividends, you cannot cash out your dividends. Like basically, if you can have a company and the company does well, but there are other ways to retrieve your dividends other than working from the United States, then you can do that.
I would say you get advice. Just get advice. Go see, everyone is different, so just don't sit down with a lawyer like Claudine and an accountant and just say, okay, this is what I want to do. Get advice. That's what I would say, because if you get it wrong, the consequences are really going to be major. RC, guys, we'll spend nearly 2 hours. Claudine promised give me 2 hours, so we're rounding down. I think we'll take 1 or 2 and then we'll sort of like call it a day. Thank you so much, Claudine, for being here. RC, I can't pronounce that last name. I think you're Polish. Go ahead, sir. RC, you've got the floor. Oh, he's dropped off. Okay, perfect. Claudine, it's been, I would say it's been wonderful just having you here, just to explain these things that look a bit complicated. Thank you for doing that. There's a last guy here. Let me just see this tweet real quick. Claudine, give me a second. Just give me a second to read this. Okay, perfect. This is too long for me to read. We'll spend 2 hours speaking with you, Claudine, and I've just learned, really. So just that was the whole idea, to bring an expert in here. Lots of things we hear secondhand might not be true. So we brought you in here to just talk to us about these immigration issues, to tie it also into finance. Now I've learned about EB5, I've learned about the E2, learned about the international payroll, which is very, very important for the business folks out here that want to sort of diversify. They don't need to get a second passport, but they want to also diversify. And it comes with second passport. Yay, let's do that. So I thank you so much for just spending 2 hours with us here, not just in Nigeria, but also on the African continent to talk about this. You're a great advocate for this, and I'm really, really happy that you're able to spend time with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I hope what we discussed has been helpful to many. And you can call me back another time.
Thank you. Thank you. We will. I'm sure folks that were a bit shy, all the DMs you are sending to me, I'm not a lawyer. I should ask the lady when she was
why
here.
Are they shy? They think I work for the government.
No, I just think that people are a bit.
I defend people from against the government.
I think they don't want it. I'm not sure why they would be worried. So I saw that and I was very, very, very interesting. They don't want to talk because they're going to apply for a visa. They don't want to look as if they were. I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense to me. You're asking information. It's a very, very open space. This is not what they're looking for. They're looking for social media comments that are against the fundamentals and ideas of the U.S. government. This is just an informational space where you want to get information about the process is, the right way to do it. So I'm not sure why you'd be worried about talking or putting your face out there. I don't think that the U.S. government is
there are
interested.
some questions in the comments. So did you read them? There's somebody who asked, what are the circumstances that cause one's asylum application to be sent immediately to immigration judge without first being interviewed by an immigration officer?
You should have take that, please.
I don't think I've seen this one. So once there are different types of asylum. There's what's called affirmative asylum. That means somebody came here with a visa and then they decide to apply for asylum. That's affirmative. It goes to the U.S. Asylum office. We have different asylum offices around the country, and you are scheduled in for an interview with an asylum officer. An asylum officer really sometimes takes 2, 3, 4 hours. There's one I went to was like 6 hours. And if the asylum office, the director does not grant you asylum, you are not denied. You are referred to an immigration judge. So the other type of asylum is that, those people we're talking about who come through the border, like they just come in at the border, and it's called defensive asylum because you are put in removal proceedings, and then they say, okay, why are you crossing the border without inspection? And then you tell to the CBP officer that you are seeking asylum because you fear persecution or are fleeing persecution in your country. You are placed in removal proceedings, and then you file asylum as a defensive, defense against your deportation. Those go to court, to immigration judge, and so on. So I haven't heard any asylum cases being referred to court without an interview. You have, so far. But right now, there is one, there's a new rule now which allows judges, though. Once you file a case with a judge and you don't provide all the information on your form, there's a form that you have to fill out, I-589, and you do not disclose enough information, the judge now has the discretion of pre-terminating, basically saying you abandoned your case because you did not provide the information.
Wow.
Right? So most people, when they apply for asylum, they just put yes, and then where they ask for explanation, they leave that blank. So if you do that now, the judge can just say, okay, your case is incomplete, abandoned, denied. Yeah. So, but asylum office, I haven't seen that happen. They don't have that instruction. So the judges, immigration judges are under the Department of Justice, and the Attorney General can say, okay, according to this new legal precedent, now judges they can just pre-terminate some cases without hearing them because they are incomplete. However, it has not been said by the DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, that deals with the affirmative asylum cases. I haven't seen that happen. But to be safe, when you complete your asylum application, of course, you should seek an attorney's advice. But if you don't do that, you need to make sure you complete the form, or it's 10 pages. All the questions you ask, or answer all the questions asked in the form, so that it's not deemed abandoned.
That's very interesting. I didn't know about that. That's an inside baseball.
It's new. I'm telling you, it's a new case. BIA, Board of Immigration Appeals. It's a matter of car. It was ruled in May this year, and now the judges are using it to just say, okay, your case is incomplete, but, and then you have to appeal. So.
I mean, if you have to just work with a lawyer. That's what I hear now. You just can't sit down and do it at home on your table on a Sunday. You have to basically go sit to the professional and say, I want to file this. I want to go to court. Am I doing it the right way? Don't leave any chances. Don't leave any strings that can be pulled. That's really what I'm getting from it.
So those who have cases before a judge, the judge advises you to go seek legal counsel. So they give you a chance. They say, okay, we're going to give you another date so you can come back with an attorney. Because when you are before an immigration judge, you are against an attorney because the government sent the attorney, the DHS attorney is an attorney. So if you are not represented by an attorney, you don't have any chances. They give you a chance to go find a judge. The judge has to inform you that you have the right for an attorney. Even if they don't pay one for you, you have to find one. They give you a list of non-profit organizations. But right now, they don't really have that much funding because they cut the funding. So you really have to be on your own to be able to afford an attorney to represent you.
Important information there, guys. And I think that's a good place to close. Is there any other comments there? I didn't see that when you talked. That's the only comment there, right?
No, they tagged me, so
okay.
I thought it was in the comments.
Yeah, all right. It'll be some. I have a lot of them. They are very, very shy today. Usually they are asking questions. For Nigerians, don't want wahala. They're trying to be very, very careful. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you, Claudine. I appreciate you coming. Like I said, once again, thank you. Say hi to the folks in Rwanda. They are our good friends. One of these days we'll come and experience the beauty.
Have you gone?
I haven't. I read so that when God was going to sleep, he went to Rwanda. That was actually Nigeria, but Rwanda stole it. But yeah, I should go. And see for myself. Yeah, I will give it a spin. This when I come, I'll give it a spin.
And one day I'm gonna go to Lagos.
You want to go to Lagos? Lagos is New York. Yeah. Do you like New York? Do you like Utah? What state in the US do you like? I'll give you the corresponding version in Nigeria. Do you want New York vibe?
I like New York, of course. Yeah.
You want to go to Lagos?
I don't live there, but I like New York.
Yeah, you want to go to Lagos?
I also like. Okay, Lagos.
Yeah. Great food, great people. Nightlife is excellent. The food is fantastic.
And one of I have something. Star was in Rwanda this weekend or last weekend. She now signed with Ira Star.
Ira Star, yes. She's one of our exports that we used to make foreign currency. Yeah. Ira is just wonderful. Thames, Ira, lots of those. Yeah. So, yeah. I have lots of folks that are in Rwanda. I have a real estate guy that is there doing a lot of stuff in Rwanda. A lot of Nigerians are there. So
there are a lot of Nigerians in Rwanda.
Yeah, we should. I'll definitely make our time and come this time. Being in Kenya, but I'll have to hop into Rwanda this time. All right, Claudine, thanks. Yeah, and if I'm in Houston, I will also look you up as well. I didn't say Houston or Dallas, but
I'm Houston, yes.
Perfect. We'll do that as well. Thank you, guys. Okay. Let me let you guys go. Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, guys. Monday is just tomorrow, and I love Mondays. Start of a great week for us all. So let's go out and make that money and stay safe, guys. See you all next week. Next week, I hope to bring an economics professor to talk around economics, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's an open weekend. All right, guys, take care. Thank you, Claudine. Thank you guys for listening. You guys have a good day, and bye.